Well, hello beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all having an awesome day, and today's video is going to be a full face try on video. I haven't done one of these in such a long time, you guys. But this stuff was affordable. I had a bunch of it and I was like, you know what? Rather than just like testing things here and there and then showing them monthly favorites if I like them, I figured I would just like test a whole bunch at once. So today we're testing Sistar Cosmetics. It's Sister but with an A instead of an E, so I'm going to say Sistar this entire time just because. I don't know if that's right or not. But they have a bunch of Florida products. I have a full face full of stuff here today except for my setting powder and my brows. But everything else is them except the lipstick too. So almost everything on my face is them. And yeah, we're going to see how I like these things today. I've never tried this brand before, but I do like showing affordable products on my channel. So this is semi-affordable stuff, so I figured I'd show it to you. And without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, I greatly appreciate if you did that. And give me a thumbs up on this video because why not? It's not going to hurt you. Let's do it. Alright, let's get started with the try on portion of the video. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to tell you what products that I'm testing out today. So, I have two of the liquid shadows. These are so pretty. This one, like, I could not even deal with the coloration here. I'm really hoping this works out and isn't like super chunky or anything. So I have two liquid shadows. This one's called Frozen Heart and this one is called Golden Storm. This is the thing I'm excited for the most, honestly. But even though I just put a little bit under there, but I love liquid shadows. We also have a smoothing primer, which I'm a little bit worried about because I usually don't like clear silicone-y looking primers, but we don't know how this one performs yet. I do have a foundation as well as a concealer here. This is in the shade Vanilla Cream and this is their lightest one, Fair, for concealer. So we're going to see how these perform. Really need some coverage in my concealer, so I'm hoping that has it. As far as the blush, I do have a little blush duo which has pretty mauve tones because I love mauve. So there's like a pinkier one and then a darker one, which these are my two normal go-to colors other than like kind of an orangey blush. We have this contour palette, which I'm worried about because it doesn't look light enough, but we're going to try it anyways just to see if I can get away with it. I also have this eyeliner here, which we're going to try out, as well as a big eyeshadow palette. So this one is so pretty looking. They had a couple eyeshadow palettes to choose from, but this is the one that I thought was super pretty. So it is the Queen Cleopatra inspired eyeshadow palette. And here is the inside of it. Now, I do have a cat named Anubis. So I noticed there was two shades in this palette named Anubis, which is kind of odd. This one and this one are both named Anubis. So that was kind of weird. But I thought the palette packaging, everything just really sold me on it. So I thought this was cute and there was like a goldy moment. So I was like, okay, we'll give it a shot. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the primer. All right, so this is the It's You Skin Smoothing Primer. It just says skin smoothing, so I'm assuming it's gonna be a pore filling kind of primer. But it's kind of like a yellowy off-white kind of color, like a clear, oh my gosh, that's the first thing that came to mind. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you're an adult. Okay, let's just put a little, I don't know how much I need, so I'm gonna take that much and just see. It is kind of one of those silicone-y primers. I'm not a fan of those personally. I do like a moisturizing primer myself, but I'm willing to give it a chance to see if it makes my skin look smooth like it says, so let's go ahead and do this. If you have issues with clogged pores, I wouldn't suggest a silicone based primer. But I personally don't really have an issue with that, so we're gonna make it work. Alright, so that went on smooth and fine, no big deal. Just not my favorite personal preference as far as primers, but it still feels fine. So now we're gonna take the Vanilla Cream It's You Skin Perfecting Liquid Foundation. So both these things are skin perfecting. So this is what the tube looks like. I'm gonna take the cap off. It's one of these pumps. I'm gonna make sure I shake it up first. And we'll see if the color works for me. This Vanilla Cream is dark. Vanilla Cream is dark. That's the shade. It's a dirty sponge. Just leave me alone. I'm not cleaning up my sponge every time I do my face. It's very yellowy based, but we're going to try to make it work. Okay, so right off the basis of everything, I don't really care for this foundation. First of all, the shade is a little yellow based for me, but like, it's hard to pick undertones just based off of color. I just feel like it's super dewy, right? Which is fine because I don't mind a dewy finish. It's just that I feel like I can still see all of my discoloration even though I have a decent amount of product on everywhere, even where I think this side I have more product on. I can still see all my discoloration through, and I feel like my texture is enhanced a little bit right now. We'll see with concealer and powder, but so far, like, this is not my favorite finish of foundation. This is not going well. I was expecting this to be like a really super positive video, but like the primer wasn't my personal preference, and then this, it's not covering anything. So we're gonna open the concealer now. It's again the It's You Skin Perfecting Concealer in Fair. So it has a teardrop wand applicator, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go pretty heavy with this. Because again, like I said, I need the coverage under my under eyes. And then I'm gonna try to correct all of the discoloration showing through on my skin, which happens to be a lot. Okay, so decent amount of concealer up there. It's very shiny, and let's go ahead and start blending it in. The color isn't horrible looking. It kind of disappeared. Kind of didn't conceal everything. So I've done my concealer. I don't have a setting powder from this brand, so I'm gonna use the Milk Makeup setting powder, which is like a blur setting powder, and I'm gonna go ahead and set my face, and then we'll see how I think of everything like after my complexion is done. Alright, so my face is powdered, and what I can say is I feel like the primer is irritating my skin right around this area where it was showing a lot of my redness. I feel like it's because the primer, when I first put it down, I don't feel like my skin's agreeing with it. So it kind of feels not the greatest right around this area where I had to put extra concealer on to cover up the redness. It did help a little bit. I still feel like I see all of my texture discoloration through it. The concealer did do a lot for my under eyes. I feel like my under eyes look okay. It's not the most impactful concealer in the world, but it did something for me. So what I'm gonna do now, what do we have to work with? Actually, let's do my like contour and everything next, because I feel like I look very flat at the moment. So the contour palette, this is CP01 medium contour palette. Oh, I got the medium one? I thought I got the light one. Okay, it's fine. We'll make it work. So apparently there's a lighter one than this, unless they don't have a light one, unless this is like the only one they have. There's a piece of fuzz in there, but here is the colors. This one's way too yellow for me. This one is a shimmer, and then this one I'm gonna have to use as my contour, I think. Well, actually, we'll try two colors. We'll try to dip into both. So I'll go into more of the yellow one, even though it's not my undertone, in this one as well. Not use the shimmer. Tap off my excess. This is my regular brush from my brush set, which is on sale currently, 15% off all influencer sets. Whew, that's warm. I mean, it's a very pigmented powder. I didn't go in very heavy with there, but it's warm. It's so warm. I'm just gonna use the yellowy shade and a little bit of the brown shade for this side. I feel like I went a little much on the yellow the first time, so. Ooh, it's so warm. It's so warm. I don't mind a ton of warm contour underneath my chin because it's supposed to hide my gobble. But, I hate that. It looks bad. Okay, let me just take my beauty blender and try to blend this in because it's not looking great. But it's just the undertone is wrong for me. Like it does not fit my skin tone whatsoever. Then again with my powder brush, it's just so because my beauty blender was wet. I can deal with this. I can deal with this. I wish my discoloration was covered here so it wouldn't bring my face downwards. Like if this was white like the rest of my face, I feel like it would look better. This side I can deal with too. So okay, we made it work. Just don't get medium if you are my complexion. It's not gonna work out very well. All right, next up for blush, I'm gonna use the blush duo because these colors look cute, you guys. This one is the Rosy Cheeks one. And I'm gonna take my little Real Techniques blush brush between both of the shades together. Ooh, okay, this is pigmented. I just went and tapped off the excess. No, still a lot. So, their powders are hella pigmented and it's kind of scary, not gonna lie. That's kind of scary. What is going on with this video, you guys? It went off the rails so quickly. So again, I'm gonna blend this out because it was really, really pigmented. But honestly, I don't mind like a good amount of blush as long as it looks okay after I put highlighter on. Now, I don't have a highlighter from this brand, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the Jaclyn Hill Twinkle highlight from that mystery box I got, and I'm just gonna apply that everywhere. I love when people called Spam Robot call me. That's the greatest. I always want to talk to Spam Robot. So I did my highlight and I'm now putting on a little bit of eyelid primer from Gerard Cosmetics. It is the Fair Eyelid Base, which comes in these cute little jars. And now we're going to do the eyeshadow because I want to use those liquid eyeshadows, you guys. I want to use liquid eyeshadows. So the Cleopatra the Queen eyeshadow palette. I think what I'm going to do is something simple just because I feel like this base is already ruined. Ruined. Oh, maybe I should do something bolder to distract it. I don't know. Actually, let's go ahead and we're going to take I'm not pronouncing that word. This shade and put it under my brow bone area. I'm actually going to take this little double-ended Sigma brush for this entire eye look just because I feel like it's easy to use, and I also have a huge mirror on this palette as well. So I'm going to tap off the excess and just brush this under my brow bone area. Y'all, the blush, it's way too pigmented. Like it's a danger to itself and others kind of pigmented. Now I'm going to clean off the brush on my thigh because that's what I do. I'm going to go into Thoth, which is this green. We'll do the green kind of look for this look. This looks fun. There's a whole bunch of different colors in that shade. This looks fun. I'm getting distracted so easily. Let's tap off our excess that picked up really well on the brush. I'm going to put this in the inner half of the crease. This is definitely more of a yellow green than like a pure lime it looks like in the pan. Because I didn't set this part of my eyelid primer. This should be true to color. But it's a little bit more on the yellowy green side, but it is pigmented and it's showing up. So I'm going to take it. I don't mind something being a little yellow on my eyelid, you know? Well, unless those my eyelids stained yellow, I would mind that. Now with the same brush, I'm going to go into Plah, P-T-A-H. I'm not good at these words, you guys, and people, when I don't know how to pronounce things, people give me shit. They're always like, why don't you just do some research, blah, 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 be professional. I'm like, I don't have time to research every single thing for an eyeshadow shade. It's not that serious. I can't get over how much blush I'm wearing right now. Oh my gosh. I mean, the contour, like, we made work. The blush did not make work. I did not make it work whatsoever. I'm also just putting this in the second half of the crease. The eyeshadows have pigmentation. There is no question about that. No question about their blush having pigmentation either. I'm really upset about it, you guys. Like, okay, so the foundation didn't look fantastic on me because it wasn't enough coverage for my own personal taste. And the primer doesn't really settle well with my skin. But like everything else could have been a win. And then this blush had to go and ruin my entire day. And I feel like I look like an 80s cartoon replica of what the 80s people actually look like. Because I don't know if the 80s actually looked as like much blushy as it does on TV because I was not alive for that. Also, a lot of you guys didn't know how old I was, I found out. In my Q&A video with my boyfriend, y'all asked how old he was and he's 28. And I guess a lot of people didn't know how old I was. I'm 26. So I was definitely not around in the 80s, but I'm also not a spring chicken either at this point, you know? I actually want to go with my finger now to this word shade because it looked like there's a bunch of different colors in it. I was just going to use this green shade, but I feel like I want to go into the more weird one. Ooh, it's like a silver. It looked more gray. It's very bright. So I'm going to put this on the lid and just see how that goes. Oh, it's kind of glittery. Is this a glitter? It might be a glitter or a really chunky shimmer. It's hard to tell with this texture. What am I doing? This video is so screwed. I would like totally skip putting it out and stuff. But like not everything goes to plan, you guys. I guess this is fine. My eyelid is still has primer on it so it's able to stick to it. However, I totally think this is meant to be a glitter shade. But like the eyelid primer from Draw Cosmetics really does help it stick pretty well, so I guess I'm okay with that. I guess I'm okay with that decision I just made. I'm just not gonna mess with blending up the top lid. It'll be okay. So I'm gonna take the other side of that shader brush now. I'm gonna go into the shade Anubis. This Anubis shade, because there is two. It's just kind of a brown shade, and I'm gonna dust it under lower lash line. Something very subtle for down here because I have a lot going on right now on my face. Lastly, I'm gonna take the liquid shadow. This one is in Frozen Heart. This looks so freaking pretty. And I'm gonna put it under lower lash line. I wanna swatch it on my hand first though. Look how cute. Look at all those colors. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, I'm so excited about this. I'm excited about it to try it, and I'm excited about just for future looks and thinking about what I can use with it. It's gonna be so cute under the lower lash line with like a neutral look or a yellow look with that little bit of blue sparkle. It's gonna be so cute. All right, so for the liquid shadow, I'm gonna take it on this little flat brush. Just gonna take a little bit, and I'm just gonna tuck it in the inner part of my lower lash line. Wow, this is a lot darker than I expected, just because I really base dark color to it. I don't hate that though, but it's a little, looks a little more see-through on my hand. But it's so metallic and sparkly. Sparkle, sparkle. Oh my gosh, it's so sparkly. It's like a pretty mermaidy dream. It's not the most opaque in the world, but definitely does like the sparkly eye want. I feel like if you want to do a perfectly even coat on your lid, you might need 2 layers of this. But for my purposes, it looks super cute. Gonna make sure I blur it out properly. Okay, so I'm gonna pop on some mascara and lashes. I'll be right back and I'll show you the finished look. Alright guys, so I'm back and this is the finished look using the Sistar Cosmetics, Sistar Cosmetics products. So here is my eye look up close. It came together pretty nicely, even though I'm pretty sure this is a glitter, but my eyelid primer was already sticky, so it stuck pretty well. I haven't had any fallout happening. I also tried to take my beauty blender and like dull down the blush as much as I could, and I think I got it to a reasonable point where it's not crazy anymore. So let's talk about the products that we did try. So the Queen eyeshadow palette, the pigmentation on these were really good. Of course, I did accidentally put a glitter on my lid, but like the mattes, the 3 mattes that I used, the 2 greens and the 1 for lower lash line, came out really nicely. I had no issues using that whatsoever. The concealer I feel like is pretty good. I like it more than the foundation. I feel like the concealer is not the most concealery thing in the world. Definitely when I turn to the side and stuff, I still have a lot of darkness under my lower lash line. My lower eyelid area, my blueness coming through my veins does come through a little bit, but it has decent pigmentation. If you're looking for something more of a medium coverage, it definitely does that. The foundation I don't like as much because I need more coverage personally. It just says weightless, long wearing. It doesn't say what kind of coverage this is on it. But for me, I just need a little more coverage. I have a lot of discoloration towards the bottom of my face that I need more from personally. But it was very dewy if you're looking for a dewy finish. We actually did not use the eyeliner today because I was figured black with this would be a lot. The liquid shadow is super, super pretty. If you're looking for something opaque, you definitely will need 2 coats with these. But like, I really like the sparkly, and I love the sparkles. I love liquid shadows, so I'm biased on that one. The primer, not for me. It kind of irritates my skin, these kind of primers. So I did feel it. I don't feel it anymore, but like when I was doing my powder and everything, I felt like bottom of my face was kind of irritated, so I don't feel that currently anymore. But this just isn't my favorite type of primer personally. The blush, stay away from this thing. It's dangerous. If you want a super pigmented blush, though, it does work, but it's too intense for me. I did not go into that pan hard. I went, put it on both sides of my face and tapped off the excess, and it was just the contour palette, not my right tone, so I can't really be a fair judge of this either, so I don't want to give it like a when it just doesn't work for my skin tone. Anyways, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This was kind of a bit like a mess of a video, to be honest. I thought this would go a lot smoother, but overall, like, I could definitely go out of the house like this and have no issues. So thank you guys so much. I'll let you know what I think of these products later on, my monthly favorites. If I keep using them, if I love them more than I do now, I'll let you know. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.